Starting. Guys, yesterday, as of now, we have seen like operations, right? Kind of a read and write all operations we have seen, right? So let me open one of the example here. So in this we have seen all the operations right in the file, like read, rename, write, on your update file, move, list, delete, create directory, copy. Each and every operation we have seen locally. So locally means we are using file connector, right? So file connector is useful for creating and updating or moving in locally. So locally means within your desktop or laptop or systems. Within your local drives only you can move your file one place to another place, and you can write and you can read from your local disk. But sometimes, so it is not the real time scenario. Why? Because every time you will not have your files into your system, right? Sometimes your file will have in a remote locations. In that scenario, this file connector will not work actually. Why? Because this file connector will work with only local disk. So nothing but it can connect only your local disk only. But if you want to connect to the like remote servers or remote desks, you have to use the different types of protocols. Okay, so what are those protocols are available? Here you can see FTP, this is the one of the protocol, and SFTP. So these two protocols, by using these two protocols, we can connect to the remote server desk, and we can connect to that remote location, and we can fetch our files from that remote location, as well as the even we can pull our files to the we can push our files to that remote location. Yes, the only difference between the file and SFTP or FTP, what is the main difference? So file will work with the local disk, like SFTP work with the remote disk. That is the only difference you can see. So even if I drag this SFTP, here you can see all the operations. Write, rename, read, on your update file, move, list, delete, create directory, copy. Same operation even you can see in a file also. File SFTP. There is no change actually in the operations wise. So nothing but, so in the SFTP also, write means we can write our data into a SFTP like a remote server. Okay, remote disk. You can write your in the file, you can write your file into a local disk. In the SFTP you can rename your files. Same way you can do file also locally also. Even you can read your file from the server location. Okay, in the file you can read your data from, you can read your files from local disk, nothing but any folder you can read from your local system. On your update file also, so automatically it will trigger file in a source level. So based on the time interval it will trigger. Move means it will completely move a file from one folder to another folder. So copy means it will maintain a copy in input folder, and it will copy the file into another folder. Delete means, deletes a file. If you want to delete any particular file, you can delete. Create directory means it's nothing but a create folder. You can directly create a folder by using this operation. Okay, same operation already we have seen in the file connector. Same operation you can see in a SFTP also. So that's why, for example, I'll tell you how we can read the file. So that is enough. Why? Because remaining all things you can do same. However, we have done in the file connector, same way you can done in a SFTP also. The only difference is like in the file connector we are performing operation on local files. Here SFTP you are performing all your operation on remote files. That is the only difference you can see. Okay. First of all, I'll create a one sample application so then you can understand. Okay. Otherwise, in the same application also I can create a flow. Okay. So otherwise, new example, I'll open the previous example. So in that you can see all your operations like write a file, read a file, delete a file, rename, create a directory, copy file, move. All this operation we have seen, right? In the same way, in the end of the flow, otherwise here you can see read, right? So read flow I want to Clone. How can I clone? Control C, click here, Control V. So then end of the flow, it will create a flow. Okay, I don't want to be end of the. So first of all, I want to minimize all this flow. How can I minimize? Right click, collapse all. Collapse all means it will minimize all these flows. Now this is my created flow. This is my actual flow. Okay, if I want to generate, if I want to move also, I can move above, bit above. In this way I can move. Here also I can place. Okay. So here you can say read file, copy of read file. So now you can see I can open these two flows only. So both are same. So I have STP listener, start logger, read operation, transform message, logger, right? So here instead of file connector, I will use the SFTP. Okay. So for that I need to include the SFTP module into my project. In this way you can mod add. After that you can use this read operation. So everything is same. Local, if you want to read local file, you will use the sorry guys, the power cut happened. Okay, still the record is going on, right? Okay, that's fine. Yeah, what we are discussing here, by using file connector we are reading the files from the local system, but same thing here I'm doing, reading the file from SFTP location. SFTP is nothing but a server. Okay, server location, we are reading the file from server location. So remaining all operations are same. If I want to remove the copy of, how can I remove? Go to configuration XML, Control F. Sorry, I need to first of all write this one. I need to take this and I will replace with null. Okay. Control C. I'll go to the configuration XML, Control F, Control V, replace with empty, replace all. Okay. So now you can see. So you can do. But here, so in any mule application, you should both flows should should not have same names. So that's why I will change the flow name.
The screen is not visible.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. Let me share my screen again. Able to see my screen, right? Now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here I'm not doing anything actually. So yesterday we have discussed, right? So how we can read the files by using this flow? So we can read this file operation. We can read the file from the local system, nothing but your laptop, from your laptop. But but here by using SFTP read, you can read your file from the server location, nothing but remote location. You can read your file. That is the only difference between the file connector and the SFTP connector. Okay. So here in the file, if you see in the file, you can see configuration section. Okay, connector configuration section. If you open that configuration section, nothing will be there. Just there also you can connect to the some local directory. There is no fields are showing here, right, to configure. So just working directory and this file path both are same. You don't need to worry. Even if you are not configured this also, you can work with the local file. But for SFTP, definitely you need to configure the configuration. Here even you can see, okay, this configuration mandatory configuration. That's why it is showing error. But in the file, if you're not configuring also, that is fine. Okay, why we need to this configure? Why they have introduced it is as a mandatory field? Why? Because if you want to connect to the remote server, definitely you should pass some connection details. So that's why they have provided this connector configuration. In this connector configuration, we can provide some connection details to connect to the remote server. So what are those connection details? So for example, if you want to connect to the database, like you need to pass the host and port, username, password, right? In the same way, if you want to connect to the remote servers, definitely you need to pass that server host details. Server host name. Host name means like local host we can take. Sorry, not local host. Here I have some predefined. Okay, here I have some predefined details are available for the SFTP location, SFTP server location. I have already with me those details. So what are these details? So these details are provided by the MuleSoft to practice purpose, like how we can connect to the remote servers and how we can fetch the files if you want to know that. So by using the sample credentials, you can work. So these are provided by the MuleSoft or Rebex guys. Okay. So let's copy this host details and paste there. So these are the trial SFTP details, trial version. Okay. So this is the default port. You don't need to worry about the port. SFTP means 22. FTP means something 21 like that. Okay. SFTP 22, FTP 21. Username is demo. Demo is the username and password is password. Password. Okay. If you want to check your connection also, you can check by clicking on test connection. Just if your server is available, this server, which server? If this server is test.revex.net, if this server is available, then it will show like your test connection successful. Yeah, now you can connect to that server and you can read the file. If you want to read the file, you need to give the path. Same way, if you want to read the file from the local, you need to give the path, right? So you know already this path, where is file, your file is located. Then how you can configure this SFTP path? You don't know, right? Where you can. So for that, if you want to check this path, first of all, you need to log into that server and you can check like which file you want to read. That one also you can check here. How you can check, how you can log into that server. So for that, we need to use one software. Okay, we need to use one tool. By using that tool, you can log into that server and you can check the file. And based on that file, you need to give the path here. So then only it will pick that file. How you can check that file? Let me show you. Okay, first of all, you need to download the one tool is called like WinSCP tool. So by using that tool, we can log into that server and we can like download that file. Okay, we can identify that path. So what is that software name? WinSCP. WinSCP download simply. Click on first site, that is enough. Here directly click on download WinSCP 5.19.6. This is the latest version. Okay, let me download this. Click on that. So then I think automatically it is downloading. Okay, let me download here, then see. Once it is download, we need to extract this. I think otherwise I think it is not required. Already it is downloading as a execution file only. Go to folder and open this. Okay, double click on this. Otherwise you can paste into separate folder also. Okay, accept this. No need to read everything. Just accept this and click on next. Okay, click on install. And just click on finish button. Now my SFTP installed successfully. So if you want to check whether it is installed or not, you can go to the search and search for the WinSCP. Okay, so then you can open this WinSCP. WinSCP I'll open this WinSAP. Yeah, it is asking for the remote, like remote server details it is asking. So for that, click on new site and give the here host name. What is our host? So this is the host. Host name we have to give here, and port is default port is 22. You don't need to change. Okay, so if you want to change, you can change, but you don't need to change. So here, sorry, 22. I'll give 22. So now I'll give username is demo, password is password, and just click on login button. So then it will connect to that server location. Now it will open your server details. Okay, so just understand, like right side you can see this is the server location. Okay, now you have connected to the server. So if you open this file, you can see all the server files. These are the server files. It is not located into my local system. It is located into the server, means some other systems, some remote systems. These files will located. I have connected to this location by using SFTP. So left side you can see this is my local drive. Local drive means my local files it will show. You can see my HCL document, ROM, personal, these are all details, right? So workspace, this is our workspace. In this workspace we have all this example, everything I can see in left side. So the advantage is like from the left side directly we can desktop also. If you see the desktop, you can see these files, right? From the left side, right side, simply you can drag this file and you can keep here. But this operation will deny. Okay, so cannot create a remote file, nothing, but we, as of now we are using trial account, right? So that's why they have denied all this, like a editing option, nothing but only we can read the file from the remote location. Why? Because it's a sample account, right? So that's why they have given permission only for the read only. They haven't given any permission for remaining operations. Like what are the remaining operations? So write and rename, delete, copy, move. So for these operations they haven't given permission. So sample remote location, right? So that's why they have given only permission for the read operation. Nothing but only we can read this file and we can see the data. So remaining all files are PGN files, PNG files, nothing but images. Only we have one text file. We'll try to read this file and we'll see how we can read this file and everything. Okay. So if you are using real time, okay, this is a sample remote location, right? This is a sample SFTP location they have provided. That's why they have restricted all these permissions. But in your real time work, they will give all these permissions, like to drag local files to remote server, and even you can download local remote files to local. Everything you can do from these two tabs. This is the local, this is the remote. In real time they will give the permission, but as of now we are using some kind of a sample credentials, right? So that's why they have restricted all these permissions. That thing you have to understand. Okay, so let me read this file first. How I can read? First, before reading this file I need to copy this path. Okay, if you double click here, automatically it will open here, and copy this path, and I'll give this path here. And after that I need to give the file name as well. What is my file name? Oh, rename, right? So yeah, this is my file name. Control C. So now I'm reading my file. So the only difference is like connector configuration details. For the local file, you are giving the local path. For the SFTP path, you are giving the SFTP path. Server path you are giving directory path. The only difference is like connection configuration details. In the file section, we are not configuring any connection details, but in the SFTP section, we are configuring connection details. That is the only difference. Remaining everything is same. Okay. Start logger, everything is same. So here, not read, SFTP read. I'll give SFTP read. SFTP read. Let me execute this example and see. how it will work. I'll run this. Let me open Postman. Yeah, this is a test, right? So what I will give, not test, I'll give SFTP read. Still it is deploying. Yeah, now it is deployed successfully. I'll clear the console and I'll trigger this. Here you can see the data response. What is the data? Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll remove all these things because of this expression. It is giving some error. Simply, I'll give some file data colon payload, whatever coming from the SFTP location. That is I'm printing here. Control S, nothing but it is saving the data. Yeah, now I'm sending the request. Now you can see the data response. Okay, so 200. Okay, file data, this is the file data. Welcome you. So here you can see the message actually. Okay, so welcome to connect to the FTP or SFTP server used the testing purpose by Rebex. It is provided, this testing details provided by the Rebex company. Okay, so these all information you are reading from the SFTP location, server location. You are reading all this information. So if you want to check that information in the server level, how you can check whether I am reading the proper data or not? How can I check? Here you can see flow started, flow ended. Okay, so these two loggers also printed successfully. Let me check in a server level whether this data is there or not. If I open this file, you can see this file. Okay, welcome. You are connected to the FTP SFTP server used by the testing purpose by Rebex FTP SSL or Rebex SFTP sample code. Same message I am getting from the Postman also. But here, so what is this slash r slash and slash r? Slash r means new row, slash and new line. Okay, sorry. Slash and slash r means it's a new row, nothing but. Every time it will take the enter. So that's why. If you read this directly, this data, it will look like this. If you want to read by using MuleSoft, it will consider this is the slash and slash r, nothing but new line it will consider. Every time it will, you are pasting in new line, right? So that's why it will print that slash and slash r. You don't need to worry about that. If you want to replace, you can replace also. That's not a big deal. If you want to replace with slash and something. I want to read this completely. Let me can replace also this one. So automatically it will replace slash r with null. Let me check this. Sending the request. You can see only slash n. Okay, slash r removed, right? So let me remove the slash n also. And also work or what? Let's see, will it work or not? I'm not sure this will work. Let's see if it will work, that is fine. Something, yeah, and symbol is not working, right? So then you can work entire thing. So once it is removed, so then I can work on top of this. I can apply or replace again. I replace, I need to apply slash n also, otherwise slash n slash r I will apply. It will also fine. Once I remove the r slash r, I can remove the n also on top of this. You can write however you want. Replace, once I remove this slash r, so I'll get some data, right? On top of this I'll apply this, so then everything will same. I'll give some space, one space I'm giving instead of slash n, I'm giving one space. Let me check. I'm sending the request. Now you can see proper data. You can see welcome, you are not connected to the SFTP or SFTP server, so everything you are seeing properly, right? So in this way, even if you don't want this extra space, you can remove that space also. Okay, here you can remove that space also. Let me check, if I remove this space, what will happen? You can check actually. So these are the syntaxes you can write. So we'll discuss about this transform message one separate day, so then you can understand what is this everything. There's all syntaxes you can understand very well. I think at least I'll take 2 days for this transform. So only for this transform message component, I'll take 2 days. Okay, so you don't need to worry. Yeah, now it is, everything is perfect, right? So everything is perfect. Yeah, that's it, guys. Let me check. In this way, you can read your server files. So if you want to check, you have to log into the WinSCP and you can check that files. So there might be some JSON files, XML files in real time. I'm saying CSV files. You need to read those files and you need to process those files in real time. But in this is the trial version, right? So that's why I have only permissions for read, not permission for remaining operations. Okay. Let me copy these details and I'll provide you. So this is very useful to you. In the same way, I want to show you some database also. Remote database, I want to show you how we can connect to the remote database also. Let me stop this and I'll go to the database example, DB example I'm going. So you know, right, select operation, how we can select the data from the customers. So you know very well how we can collect from this customers. Let me run this example. So this is local database. You can connect to the, even I have installed that server in locally. That's why I'll connect to that local server and I'll get the data from the local database. But if you have remote server and remote database, how you can connect to that remote database and remote server? Everything you can see. First of all, we'll check how we can connect to the local server and local database. For that, you need to click on this add button. Okay, you need to select this MySQL connection and here you need to load this jar file. After that, you need to give the host details, port details, username, password, database details, right? So let me, already I have created, let me edit that and I'll show you. Already existing localhost 3306 root and password also root, database name is latest_db. So these all are the local details, right? Because I am using localhost, right? So if I have any kind of real-time database details, how can I connect to that database and how can I test that? Everything we'll see. First of all, let me check this flow is working or not. Get customers. I'll copy this path. I'll paste that path here. I'm sending the request. Now you can see I'm getting all the customer details. These are the customer details I'm getting from the local DB, local server, local MySQL server, and in that server I have DB. From that DB I'm getting this data. Okay. So if I want to read from the remote server, remote database data, how can I read? So for that, MuleSoft provided some kind of a details, sample DB details they have provided. Here you can see sample flights DB URL. This is the details. This is the host details they have provided. This is the kind of a port details. Okay, and this is the username, password. This is the database name, table name also. Even they have written the query also. So I'll use these details and I'll connect to this particular DB. What is this DB? Training DB. I'll connect to the training DB and I'll get the details from the flights table. Let me check this. I'll create a separate flow. How can I create? Control C, Control, click on side of this in this empty space, Control V. So the flow is created, but the flow is created ended, right? How can I move this upward? First, collapse all. Click on collapse all. So here it will show all this minimized flows, and now I can move this flow to wherever I want. I want to place here. When you got this black line, then you can leave that flow there. Okay, let me open again these two flows. So now here I'm connecting to the select operation to the, now I'm connecting to the local server, local DB. Here I want to connect to the remote server, remote DB. Okay, and first let me remove this copy of underscore also. I don't want to. Okay, control F you need to type replace all. So then it will replace all control. Yeah, this one. Now you got the same flow names. That's why we are getting this issue. So for that, I'll use some kind of a remote DB, something. Remote -DB. So remaining all this flow. And next, let me connect to the remote server. How can I connect to the remote server? First of all, I'll take the new configuration. Already one configuration is there, that is for local. If I want to create new configuration, click on add button. Same thing. Select the MySQL connection. Already jar is available. I no need to download this jar. Means I no need to add the dependency. Simply here I need to paste the host details. Where is the host details? This is the host details. Control C and paste here. Port. What is my port? 3306 is my port. And what is the username? Have Mule is the username. Password also Mule. Mule password also Mule. And here database is training. Let me check this test connection and see. Test connection successfully. Click on OK. OK. So now you can see two configurations. Database configuration 1, configuration, right? If you want to rename also, you can rename. If I click database config and if I see, so here you can see localhost 3306 root. This is my local DB credentials, right? And this is my local DB database details. Here I will separate with some kind of a local underscore database config. Click on OK button. Now if you go to here you can see local database configuration. This is the database configuration 1. I'll rename this one also. Click on edit button and remote underscore. Here you can see everything is remote location only. This is the remote server details and this is the remote DB details and these are the username password. Everything, it is not created by me. It is created by mule people. Okay. So let me configure these two things. First of all, already I have renamed, right? So that's why I need to reconfigure. Local database. This is the remote database and save. What happened? Something errors are there. Let me check those. Okay, I think remaining all flows, it is showing error only. I need to select that local DB. First, let me stop this application. I don't want to make more complex this. Okay, let me reconfigure all these things. I think we have only two database configuration. Yes, local and remote. Here also I need to configure. Now everything is ready. Even you can check in the configuration XML. If you got any errors this side, right side, so then you need to check your entire file. Otherwise you cannot work. Okay, run this application. Now you can check. This is the local DB connection. Here you can see local DB. This is the, I'm using local DB connection. You can check here the host details, port details, everything is local. These all are the local DB details. If I go to this, okay, second flow, remote flow, here I have configured remote database configuration. So what I have here, I have everything remote details. All these details are remote details. Here I have done one mistake actually. What is that? Here I have written same query for two flows. So for this flow also I have written select star from customer. Here also I have written same query, right? This is wrong. Actually, in this DB I don't have any customer details. You can check here. In this DB I don't have any customer details. I have flights table and I want to return query like this, flights. Okay. I'll replace that query. Once it is deployed, I can replace. Okay. Don't replace in between. Okay, and one more issue also it is showing like already listener path. Okay, here you can see already existing listener matching path. So what is the meaning of that? So for this we need to change the path also. Otherwise it will give some kind of error. Get flights. Get flights details. I'm getting. Here I need to do change here flights. So now my entire application is ready. Control S, if I pressing, automatically it will redeploy. Okay. Now let me hit this application from the Postman. Once it is started successfully, restarted. Okay, this flow need to restart, right? Yeah, now you can see restarted this application. Clear this logs and send the request. Okay, again it is restarting. Just wait.